Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing the closure of one of Sony's first-party studios. You know, it's an unfortunate thing, but it is a reality of the business. And the studio in question is pixelopus. Real quick, before we jump in all of that, please show your support by liking the video, subscribe if you're new, and if you find this informative, please consider sharing the video out there. Now let's talk about this statement made by pixelopus over on Twitter. They say, "Dear friends, our pixelopus adventure has come to an end. As we look to new futures, we wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to the millions of passionate players who have supported us in our mission to make beautiful, imaginative games with heart. We are so grateful." So they are closing, and there was actually a confirmation given to IGN in regards to this, where Sony says PlayStation Studios regularly evaluates its portfolio and the status of studio projects to ensure they meet the organization's short and long-term strategic objectives. As part of a recent review process, it has been decided that pixelopus will close on June 2nd. So it's been confirmed by Sony themselves, as when we first saw this tweet, we weren't sure what it was about. And a lot of us assumed that, yes, it's the closure of PlayStation's first-party studio, pixelopus, but, you know, we didn't know for a fact that that was the case. And then this confirmation basically given to IGN really just reaffirms that that is the case, that they are closing. And then there were also some developers that came out and made some statements. We have Bob Archibald, who says, "I like to think that with Concrete Genie, we made the world an ever so slightly better place, and not too many games these days have the chance to try and do that. I will always be grateful for my time building imaginative worlds with this incredible team." And then we also have Mark Vernon saying, "I was only pixelopus since January, but it has been some of the most creatively fulfilling work of my career. The talent at this studio really blew me away. I'm grieving right now at the loss of a great team and a great project. I hope we all land on our feet, preferably together." So, you know, it's one of these things where business is business, right? Unfortunately, yes, we love playing video games. Yes, people love making video games, but these things have to be lucrative. They have to be making a good enough amount of money. The return on investment has to be there, and an adequate amount, not just enough to break even, or not just enough to say we made 1%, 2% of however much we invested, right? So it is one of those situations, and clearly Sony has felt that that is something that's not working for them, and they have closed the studio. Now, again, business is business. Unfortunately, you know, in a week of a lot of, you know, bad announcements between Xbox and now PlayStation closing one of their studios, it's something that just is a part of the industry. Mind you, I'm not comparing pixelopus closing to the situation with Xbox, but when we're talking about pixelopus, it's one of those situations where, you know, this team has put their passion and hearts into their projects, and unfortunately, just not as received as they would have hoped, and not making as much money as they would have hoped. So that's the end of pixelopus. PlayStation is now down one first-party studio, but again, their portfolio is ever changing. It's not something that's going to stay the same forever, right? Studios are going to close, new studios are going to open. You know, they're going to buy other studios. Like, we already know that they've already supported creating Deviation Games, Haven Studio. So it's not that they're not creating other teams at the moment. So it's positive still that they're creating other teams. But yeah, unfortunately, sometimes this type of thing happens, and it's just a part of the industry. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But it looks like, based on these developers, that they don't know for sure what the future holds for them. Are they going to be sent on to another team as support? Are they going to be laid off? What the situation is? As one of them says, "I hope we all land on our feet, preferably together," right? So I don't know if that's a confirmation that that's the case, but I would imagine that Sony probably wants to take them on to other teams where it fits, because it's hard to get good development talent, right? So if there are some really great developers, they're probably going to be like, "Hey, we'd love for you guys to apply to these other positions, and maybe we can get you working on other projects within Sony's first-party studios." It's a lot. There's a lot out there, right? There's a lot out there for talented people. If you're really talented, it won't take long to get a job in the games industry, as clearly talent is short. Talent is very short in the games industry. So I think that some of these people will definitely find work, but I would hope that Sony can move everybody on to other teams and use them as support for their other projects. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll hear more about this, as these people will probably disclose what's going on with them, and we'll keep an eye out for it, and I'll definitely update you guys on that as well. But that kind of wraps it up for today's video. Not too much going on in the industry. A lot of talking about what happened yesterday with Phil Spencer and Xbox. I did do a video on that if you're interested in my thoughts. I will leave a link in the description so you can check that out. Otherwise, please consider liking the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike it if you didn't enjoy it. Please consider subscribing if you're new and share the video if you found it informative. You can follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. I thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care.